crafters, it's Darling Craftolate or Raven here, and today I have a video that has been requested for quite a while now. It is my craft area tour, and it's going to be sort of a mini craft area tour. I have craft supplies also all over the house, and everything in here isn't fully organized, but I thought I would share it with you all today. To be honest, my craft room is never really this organized and clean. I try to do my best so you can kind of see where I hope things would be. So please take this tour with a grain of salt because typically I am a huge slob and everything is everywhere. Well, here we go. Here is my table slash desk where I work at mostly. This is just my wireless keyboard and mouse, and I have a wireless one just so it's easier to move around. This tiny box is sort of a catch-all for tiny things on my desk, like random findings, tools, lip chap, and I have a Kleenex box here. I recently got a couple of these smaller organizational tower thingies. The very top has this lid, and I have some brushes in there and also my rolling pin. In the first drawer, I have a few of my blades, and I like to keep these put away when I'm not using them because I have cats. And in the bottom drawer, I have my scissors and most of my jewelry pliers. In the center of the table, I have my craft slash filming area. I used this panel of glass and this background I made. I typically have my camera here on this tripod. I really don't have very sophisticated lighting. I just use this light I'm holding and this light I purchased at Michael's. Then to the left of my filming area, I have this jar full of my frequently used clay and dotting tools. I also have a plastic container that houses most of the clay pens I've finished since returning to crafting and YouTube. Then I have my sewing kit that Katie Rose gave to me. Next over, I have this mini shelf with my computer monitor on here. In this top shelf, I have some of my random craft supplies. The bottom shelf has this photo box full of all the beads, a baking pan, and 3 containers full of findings that I've finished organizing. Box with a handle here that just has all my baking papers and foils in it. And then I have this huge box full of all my packages of baby wipes. Continuing to the left, I have this white little bookshelf, and it has several containers of all my various findings and charms. Then I have this purple stripy box that has some of my perler bead supplies like pegboards, clips, and beads. On the second tier of the shelf, I have some paper and notebooks and 2 empty containers that I'm saving for the mini beads when they arrive. On the top shelf, I have my old camera that I sometimes use if my battery dies and I really want to finish filming footage. And I have a container of all my glazes, liquid clays, and rubbing alcohol. And I also have this catch-all container with items I've recently used or want to use right away. And then I have this container of some of the cookie cutters I own. On top of this little bookcase, I have this plastic storage container tower thingy, and I actually am using it for my perler beads. I had originally purchased it to hold open clay box, but number 1, I had way too many, and number 2, the little trays weren't wide enough to hold most of them. For the perler beads, I actually taped the name of the bead color on the side of the little trays. On top of the tower, I have some letters that I hopefully would like to include in a bulletin board of some packages that I've received from friends and other crafters here on YouTube. Then continuing on to the next station of my storage area, I got my old TV stand. So let's start on the bottom, and on the right, I have this rack I use to hang charms and such. Then I have this girly tackle box thingy with more of my clay tools and brushes and just random things that I might sometimes need, and in case I'm looking for them, I know exactly where they are, if that makes sense. Then I have this container with some of my resin molds. The rest of the boxes are filled with prizes for future and current giveaways and contests, and also just various findings I have yet to organize and bigger items. On the top of the TV stand, I have all my scrapbook cases, but before we get to those, I got this little pencil case with my gathered possible clay colors for my next project. Then I just got my clipboard and tablet. So underneath is my container with all my open clay box and baggies of colors I have already mixed. In my biggest scrapbook container, I got all my needle felting supplies, some embroidery thread, wool, tools, and stuff like that. In the next stack, I have this box full of goodies that I've been collecting for a friend. In the top box that I actually didn't show you, I have some of my completed projects that I'm going to be showing you in my future craft update. But in this container, I actually like to keep all my larger items I like to use for clay, like pens, compact mirrors, bottles, etc. In this next container, I have all my stickers and embellishments. In this container, I keep all my rainbow loom supplies, so I have all my bands, and I keep my looms and hooks in one of my boxes. In my only pink container, I keep my unopened clay blocks. They're actually quite a bit, and I think, I always just have this irrational fear of running out of a certain clay color when I need it. And also I like to save money, so I like to order quite a few when I do, when there's sales on and stuff like that. On to the next area where I keep a lot of my craft supplies. I have this super old dresser. On the top of the dresser, I just keep my iron and some empty boxes. The top and bottom drawers are filled with non-Craftolate items, so I'm not going to show those. So my first drawer of crafting supplies in this dresser, I have my sewing and fabric, felt, and as well my kinetic sand. Nothing's like super organized, it's all kind of just put into this one drawer. In this next one, I have a box of plastic baggies, some empty containers, and findings. It's just, all thrown in here. And I also have the box with all my napkins and even more findings. In this last drawer, I have all my findings, bezels, ribbons, and my organza bags. I used to run an online shop for craft supplies, but with the current shipping and economy, I really don't run it anymore. And I actually got rid of a lot of my craft supplies locally, so I don't feel like, that's a stress I need to add on to my life right now. I do hope to sell some of my creations on Etsy eventually. It's just a very slow process, and I'm really focusing on just creating content for you guys. So I'm really enjoying the creative process of that. On to the next section, I have my second tiny plastic tower that I recently got, and the top just has some random items like tape. The top drawer has some of my chalk pastels, toothpicks, and all my Pearl-Ex powders. In the bottom drawer, I have some embellishments like rhinestones and findings I recently used or I just ordered and haven't put away yet. The next tower is just one size bigger. I have some of my randoms yet to be organized of a lot of my crochet and knitting tools. To be honest, this is a complete mess. I have a bunch of my crochet and knitting items all over the house because during the winter I typically crochet and in the fall and I knit, so a whole bunch of stuff is all over my house. The larger container has like 1/20th maybe even less of the yarn I actually have. On to the next tower, my red one. I have two pencil cases on top, and the first one has some markers, pens and pencils and stuff like that. The second one just has all my Crayola pencil crayons. I also have my pasta machine on here. Starting in the top drawer, I have some random items like cookie cutters, my glue gun. In the second drawer, I have some random molds, tin foil, stamps. I think I have like some pigment in here. It's really unorganized. In the third drawer, I have some lighters used to pop bubbles for resin, some bead filler, spare clay brushes, bindings. Literally, I think I have bindings all over the place. In the next one, I have a very unreliable scale. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I have some popsicle sticks, a book with all package tracking information, my UV lamp. I also have my idea notebook here where when I have a crafting idea and I want to sketch it out, I usually put it in here. And I also have my book from Kitana Maya that I've actually been using for journaling. Maybe I'll do a journal flip after I have a couple months in there, we'll see. It depends if you guys want to see it. If you do, let me know. My next drawer is one of my favorite drawers. It has all the cuteness and kawaii items like stationery, some of my washi tapes and stuff like that. These are the ones that are just mine. The ones for prizes were on the TV stand that you guys saw earlier. This next drawer is a sort of a catch-all for embellishments, wires, some molds, and just tons of random items. I seriously, I realize that this seems super unorganized, but to me it makes sense where I find everything. The bottom drawer has the majority of my acrylic paint. On to my last tower, and on top of it I have these two Tupperware containers that are empty, and I also have this plastic container that used to have those icy squares in it that I now use for my cotton swabs. I decided to bedazzle it a bit, and I also have these baby wipes that has this little piece of tape on it that's actually been on there for several years, probably since I began crafting, and a little thing of toothpicks. In the first drawer, I have some more of my chalk pastels, pigments, my E6000, markers, and more random containers filled with things. In the second one, I have my enamel paints, sticky tack that I haven't used yet but plan to, some empty containers, and old resin pieces. The next drawer has more random items like containers, loose memo sheets, and some mold maker. The fourth drawer has my other glues and liquids, cookie cutters, etc. As I said, these aren't super organized, but I mean, I generally know where everything is, so I'm not too worried about it. The last drawer has a ton of my glitter and micro marbles and things like that. And that concludes everything so far that's just in this craft room. I have stuff all over the house literally, and some stuff just still packed away since I moved. I really hope you guys all enjoyed this tour. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. For 2 extra entries into my giveaway, make sure you entered on the original video and answer this question. What chore do you like to put off? Let me know in the comments. If you wish, you can follow me on my social media, and my accounts are listed on the screen. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more crafty goodness and fun, and I'll see you guys all soon. Bye! Hey there! More information and the link to my giveaway can be found in the description box below. If you missed this, you can check it out by following the link in the description or by clicking the screen.